Philadelphia. Welcome to LSB Feasters Radio Channel, where our mission in life is keeping great radio from the past alive. And today, we're featuring a legendary jock who was big in Philadelphia. His name, Jim Nettleton. Back at the beginning of the pop explosion at WFIL in the mid-1960s, Jim Nettleton was there, and he spent time at a bunch of radio stations around Philadelphia. WCAU-FM. He was on WPEN. WUSL. He was there too, and spent time when it was oldies, 98 WOGL. And in addition to all the work that Jim Nettleton did in Philadelphia, he also spent time on the air in New York at 77 WABC. He was on air at 1050 Chum in Toronto, and he was also vice president of operations and morning man at WDAE Tampa. He just had a friendly sound, and people just loved him. So if you've never had a chance to hear him, let's check him out. It's Jim Nettleton.
We have arrived at the time again to check with WFIL 2020 Sports, and Mike Crossan's here.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jim. This edition brought to you by Delaware County Daily Times in the bright orange box and on the newsstand. The Phillies will send 19-game winner John Denny to the mound tonight against the Orioles' Scott McGregor in game number 1 of the 1983 World Series. Phil's manager Paul Owen says he's looking for a good series against a fundamentally sound Oriole team.
They're a good ball club. My people have been watching them for a month, and as late as the end of July or first part of August, they told me they thought they would win the East. They're a good ball club. They're a lot like we are, I think, in the sense that they platoon, and they get a lot out of their ball club, and they've got good pitching since they got healthy. And I think it's going to be a great series.
Over 53,000 expected for tonight's opener at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. That's WFIL's 2020 Sports, brought to you by the Delaware County Daily Times in the bright orange box and on the newsstand. This is Mike Crossan.
Fox 56, WFIL.
7:22, 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. WFIL all-hit music time. 54 WFIL degrees. High is 67 today. Let's head up toward news first time with Alan Stone. Here's Sergio Mendez.
The William Bradfield murder trial opening today at Harrisburg. In WFIL traffic,
Schuylkill Expressway traffic conditions are beginning to increase as travelers make their way eastbound from King of Prussia into Center City, Philadelphia. Fire location in West Philadelphia at 64th Street and Malvern. Walt McDonald for the Yurko AM/PM Go Patrol.
these stories headline WFIL News. Alan Stone reporting. We'll be watching Dauphin County Court at the Pennsylvania Capitol today for the opening of a proceeding that will be of much interest here in the Philadelphia area. Paul Rosenberg has a report for WFIL News.
Jury selection is due to begin today for the former Upper Merion High School teacher who is accused of murdering fellow teacher Susan Reinert of Ardmore and her 2 children over 4 years ago. Reinert was found dead of a beating and drug overdose in the trunk of a car near Harrisburg. Her children disappeared at the time of their mother's death and have never been found. Bradfield, who Reinert called her fiancé, was named beneficiary in a $1 million life insurance policy taken out shortly before Reinert died. Bradfield was convicted 2 years ago in Delaware County Court of swindling $25,000 from her estate. The state Supreme Court has named Bucks County Judge Isaac Garb to hear the case in Dauphin County, removing local Judge John Dowling because he directed the grand jury which indicted Bradfield. Paul Rosenberg, WFIL News.
And at Geneva, the Soviet Union today is threatening to break off all nuclear arms-controlled talks with the United States to protest the impending deployment of NATO medium-range missiles in Europe. WFIL News Time, 7:28.
Your MAC card from Trevose Federal Savings could be your ticket to Europe or hundreds of other valuable prizes. No purchase necessary.
56 Sports Flash.
Game time is 8:30 in Baltimore. The Phillies and the Orioles in Game 1 of the 1983 World Series. The 76ers beat Denver in an exhibition game. Mike Crossan with all the details at 7:40 on WFIL.
56 forecast.
Today, variable cloudiness with a high of 67. Tonight, cloudy chance of drizzle. Tomorrow, some rain or drizzle with a high of 68. WFIL temperature now 54. Alan Stone, WFIL News.
Jim Nettleton, WFIL Music.
Honey, you do me wrong, but
Ain't that peculiar? Marvin Gaye from WFIL, Solid Gold Radio, 1965, Motown at 7:33, 27 minutes before 8 o'clock. WFIL all-hit music time. Good morning, still 54 degrees, and variable cloudiness, high of 67 for today. A chance of rain or drizzle tonight. Some rain or drizzle again tomorrow. The high tomorrow about 68. Kind of mild temperatures relatively, but should have a little sprinkling activity too. 54 WFIL degrees. Once again, Jim Nettleton with a tip for better living. You are overweight if you have to drive with the doors open.
If you're trying to stay in shape, eating yogurt makes a lot of sense. Eating Dannon yogurt makes even more sense. You see, unlike many yogurts, Dannon is low in fat, with none of the preservatives, starches, or color additives you find in some other yogurts. In fact, Dannon has nothing but pure, delicious ingredients, which makes staying in shape pure pleasure.
Famous 56 WFIL.
7:35. WFIL non-stop music time. We'll check traffic and sports coming up in a second. Gene Pitney. She's a heartbreaker, the Rockville Rocket. Gene Pitney at WFIL, Solid Gold Radio, 1968. 7:38, 22 minutes before 8 o'clock with Jim Nettleton. Good morning. That's WFIL all-hit music time. I see in the news that secret police in Czechoslovakia are questioning a man who they say ate a letter that would have proved he was a spy. Swallowed the whole thing there. They say they are positive the mail is in the check. Okay, let's... Kevin, Arco Go Patrol out. Here's Walt McDonald.
Good morning, once again, Jim. We have a traffic accident in Southampton Township in New Jersey, routes 38 and 206. Another accident just reported in Birmingham Township at route 100 and 926. Just left the airport, a very slow line of traffic in northbound I-95.
Jim, we're having some transmission difficulties. In Tinicum Township, northbound 95 is slow. Between Route 420 and 291, we recommend the use of the industrial highway. Bob Murphy for the Arco AM/PM Go Patrol.
Okay, thanks, Bob. We'll check in again in just a few minutes. Mike Crossan is WFIL 2020 Sports. Morning, Mike.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jim. Good morning to you. They're calling it the Amtrak Series or the I-95 Confrontation. It could be called the dream matchup for those who root for both the Baltimore Orioles and the Phillies up and down the Northeast Corridor. But nonetheless, for the first time in history, the Birds and the Phils will tangle in the World Series tonight. This will be the Orioles' 6th World Series. Since they moved from St. Louis, they were the Browns, you might remember, back in 1954. They swept 4 straight from the Dodgers in 1966. They lost in 5 to the Miracle Mets in 69. They beat Cincinnati in 5 in 70. Then lost to the Pirates in 1971 and 1979, both 7-game series. The Birds have always gone in with strong pitching, and in 1983 it will be no exception. Tonight, they'll go with Scott McGregor, a left-hander who was 1-1 in series competition. John Denny will pitch for the Phillies, and despite never playing in the Fall Classic, Denny should know the Oriole hitters pretty well, having played in the American League with the Cleveland Indians for the 2.5 years. This will also be the first series for Championship Series MVP Gary Matthews, and he's looking forward to it.
I am thrilled about being in my first World Series. It's been a long time coming, in 11 years, and I think no matter what goals or what awards a ball player wins throughout his career, the one goal that he wants to do is play in the World Series, and to put icing on the cake would be to win it.
And, of course, game time is 8:20 tonight. That's WFIL's 2020 Sports. This is Mike Crossan.
Vibrations, music vibrations. Famous 56 WFIL vibrations.
7:42, 18 minutes before 8 o'clock. WFIL non-stop music time. Good morning, Jim Nettleton with the Rolling Stones. Bottom line blues there for you from the Stones at WFIL Solid Gold Radio. Heart of Stone was 1965. 7:45, 15 minutes before 8 o'clock. WFIL non-stop music time. Good morning. Eastern Airlines. They're continuing to talk with their flight attendants. Want to try to avert a strike call for Thursday morning. Alan Stone will have all the details on that and all the news. With news first at 56 coming up. We'll check traffic in a minute, too. Here's Wind. This is Make Believe. Make Believe. That's Wind at WFIL from 1969. 7:48, 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. WFIL all-hit music time. Good morning. Still 54 WFIL degrees. Hasn't moved at all since 6 o'clock this morning. Variable cloudiness, high as 67 today. Chance of some rain to drizzle tonight, and same kind of thing for tomorrow. More rain, more drizzle. About a 70% chance, unfortunately. High of about 68. Haven't thrown a law at you in quite a while. This is an installment, of course, of It's Actually the Law. In Nevada, it is illegal for any animal with 4 legs to run for public office. I presume, therefore, that kangaroos and kiwi birds are okay, but marmosets, no.
WFIL.
Good morning.
Strikes go.
At WFIL 751.
I used to live in
Commonwealth Court, next step for Philadelphia school desegregation. In WFIL traffic,
Schuylkill Expressway westbound traffic lanes are open, but the ramp from the train station at 30th Street to go west on the expressway still remains blocked. Walt McDonald with the Yurko AM/PM Go Patrol.
these stories, headline WFIL News. First at 56, Alan Stone reporting.
56 forecast.
Variable cloudiness today with a high of 67. Tonight, cloudy, chance of rain or drizzle. Tomorrow, some rain or drizzle, high of 68. WFIL Philadelphia, temperature 54. The news brought to you by Rhett's Electronic Schools. Westchester Pike in Broomall, Pennsylvania. Call for that free career brochure, 352-5586. Out-of-towners call collect 352-5586. Alan Stone, WFIL News.
Jim Nettleton, WFIL Music. Those are the intrigues at WFIL 1969. What a good sound that is. That's in a moment at 8:04. 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. WFIL non-stop music time. Jim Nettleton, good morning. Heading up toward traffic time with George Harrison and 71. What is life at WFIL?